Hi, everybody, and welcome to the launch of the LNOD communities. I am Dr. Sujaya Banerjee, and I'm the founder of the Learning and OD Roundtable, which is the version which we were since 2010. And I'm delighted at the fact that we have now reinvented ourselves to become Asia's first communities of practice. This is now a large online subscribe platform, which is also available on the App Store, both the iOS and the Android versions. But most of all, I'm excited about the times that we're in, and I'm excited about what the learning in OD communities really means, especially in the context in which we've actually created this platform. So we're going to at the start talk a bit about what the learning, um, what the LNOD communities is really all about. But I can't resist introducing to you our absolutely fabulous speakers. They're all also very instrumental in creating the LNOD communities. So I'm going to do a quick round introducing them to you, and then we'll introduce the platform, and we can try and bring back this very erudite panel one more time into a conversation. So, first of all, welcome everyone who's joining us here today, and of course, all the very outstanding. I called it the star-studded launch online launch show. So, I have to welcome all the stars. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for coming in here. I'm going to just very quickly call the names. I know they don't need introductions, but I'm going to do it nevertheless for those who are joining in late. So, let me welcome Gautam Chenani. He has over 3 decades of experience. He's currently advisor to Epsilon Carbon, but has led HR and all the other, strategic HR functions for large organizations like the Aditya Birla Group and JSW. So Gautam's also serves on our governing council. So Gautam, great to have you on the panel here with all of us today. I'm very delighted to introduce you to Anuradha Mishra, who's been I'd like to describe her as a very solid, quiet contributor doing some really fabulous work, reinventing human resources, talent, OD, learning within a very large organization, originally called JLT and now called Marsh McLennan. So, very excited to have you here, Anuradha. Thank you for agreeing to join us here today. Anuradha heads talent learning and diversity, equity, inclusion for Marsh McLennan. So, welcome. I can see your pictures frozen, so I'm hoping that the plans out for you to be able to join us again. I think yeah, she's just kind of coming in on board. We'll say hi to her one more time. I'm just, in the interest of time, going to move on to invite Sapan Shrimal, and he's basically making his debut on the LNOD Roundtable platform. So thank you, Sapan, for joining us here today. I had the privilege of being sharing a stage with Sapan a few months ago, right in the throes of the pandemic, and we were just mentioning that we haven't seen each other in person since. But now I'm so delighted that you've agreed, Sapan, to be able to come in and speak. I think Sapan's easily one of the most intuitive, one of the most astute, one of the most erudite people in the space of wellness and well-being. And I'm very excited that you've agreed to come in and speak at our inaugural event. Sapan leads MEX, which is the Mindfulness Index, and his organization is called Monk at Work. He helps leaders and organizations achieve peak performance while building resilience, wellness, and cultural strength by incorporating the deep science of mindfulness. It's really a pleasure having you on board here, Sapan, and I'm hoping that we'll see more of you on the LNOD Communities platform. So,
Pleasure.
welcome. Thank you. Next, very excited to invite Jaideep Keval Ramani. And Jaideep and I again, shared a stage sometime back, speaking to a group of Gen Z students together. And I think we had a lot of fun. Since he's been addressing our audiences, but I'm really excited you're here today at the launch of the LNOD communities, which we did in person on the 6th of October, but we're now trying to do this online for everyone who couldn't really come in and join us at the event. Jaideep has 25 years of leading and developing businesses across technology, outsourcing, digital AI. All these are his areas of expertise, and I'm hoping we're going to try and dip into some of that during the course of our conversations here today. Great to have you on board again, Jaideep. Thank you for joining us. Get a
Thank you,
chance
Sujaya,
now.
and congratulations on the launch.
Thank you. Thank you. So we get a chance to be able to say hi again to Anuradha, but I can see she's kind of just dropped off, perhaps not great tech there. Uh, Going to, last but not the least, invite Daryl, just to let our viewers know that we will have the rest of the panelists join us in a bit. The first part of the sessions around introducing you to the platform, but we will have them join us from their very demanding schedules. So delighted to introduce you all to Daryl Lim. Daryl, welcome to the Eleanori Communities launch, and very excited to be able to have you on board again. Daryl is the co-founder and the managing partner of Design Thinkers Academy Singapore. He believes that we have been given a special gift from God to learn, grow, and make it better for everyone out there. And so he's really all out to be able to bring the value of Design Thinkers Academy to India, and starting with speaking on this platform here today. So, Daryl, thank you for agreeing to be able to do this. So,
Thank
I
you.
think with that, welcome. So, I think with that, I'm going to basically walk you through what is indeed the LNOD communities and its new avatar. And of course, delighted to answer questions if you have any. But before I take you through that, let me explain what is the modus operandi today. What is the game plan, right? So, after we walk you through what the platform is, we want all of you to experience the platform with us today. And the way we're going to go about doing this is to be able to do a panel discussion that has question one to all the panelists on the panel here today. And we continue with question two on the platform, right? Which really means the audiences and us move on to the platform. And since each one of you are representing a theme that is available on the platform as part of our thematic groups, the audiences will need to basically join us on the groups of their choice. So there's a good half an hour, 45 minutes of navigating through the platform, and you can decide which group you want to join. It could be any of the 8 groups that we have on the platform, and you can continue the discourse that we're having here in the panel on the LNOD Communities platform. How's that? So you actually get to not just know about the platform today, you also get to experience the platform today. We, for those of you who had registered in advance, we sent you your coupon codes already so that you were onboarded on the platform ahead of this launch event. However, if any of you have been late with that and you need help and support, we gave you a number. Reach out to the community managers. They're waiting to be able to onboard you. It doesn't even take 5 minutes if you have a stable connection to be able to get onto the platform, right? It's that easy. Once you've joined using the link, you're then free to use whichever app, whether the Android or the iOS app. And so we're waiting to be able to onboard you in case you haven't already. But meanwhile, stay with us as we introduce you to LNOD Communities, Asia's first and hopefully the largest communities of practice. Right? So I'm going to request Sunit to help me with the deck. And I am really delighted, very proud indeed, to present to you Asia's first and largest communities of practice, the LNOD communities, which is what we've rebranded ourselves as. So, just like organizations have been reinventing themselves in the new economy, so also the LNOD Roundtable now ready to be able to do what this decade of learners requires the most. And we believe the LNOD communities is catering to the new economy learner. So, with that, Sunit, move forward and keep moving the slides as I say next to you. So, our adage for this platform is it takes a village to raise a child and a community to raise a professional. And what we're saying, what we mean when we're saying that is that, especially in these very disruptive times, in these times of constant change, it is a fallacy to assume that any one person has all the insights or all the solution or all the ideas. Uh, these are times that demand a pedagogy that's very personal. It demands for us to be able to access each other's tacit knowledge. These are times of collective intelligence. These are times of manifesting co-creation to be able to solve problems. And so, therefore, it takes a village to raise a child and a community to raise a professional is drawing from the adage that it takes more than one set of people to be able to create a well-rounded child. And therefore, in the same vein, for professionals to be able to access more professionals through these, to be able to make meaning of these very wicked times. So, with that, move forward. And here I'm trying to explain to you what a community of practice might really be, because I've often been asked, so what is indeed a community of practice? A community of practice is a community which shares a domain and has the opportunity to be able to build on each other's excellence through sharing of practices. So your practice is a generic word. What it simply means is that by sharing each other's ideas, perspectives, solutions, dilemmas, problems, all of that, we actually learn and grow together. So a community that comes together to be able to and shares a domain. And if you look at the domains we're talking about in the context of this platform, you'll see a wide spectrum of thematic groups that we've created around themes that matter the most to the community. I mean, we say community erroneously because the Learning and OD Roundtable in its previous avatar had only HR learning OD professionals as part of its community. I want to be able to correct that perception to say that in its new avatar, LNOD communities belongs to anyone who wants to become a future ready professional. So, indeed, this now expands its horizon to be able to include just about anyone who you believe in your organization. In fact, it's a great opportunity to integrate your CXOs, your high potential employees, your people who are ready to become part of the talent pipeline to now become holistic professionals, like indeed they need to be if they truly want to succeed in the 21st century. So I'm going to try and call out the themes in a bit in terms of what will you find, as you navigate this platform. It's trying to cater to a whole host of requirements. And we'd be delighted as we go along. The community shares what else they need other than what it is that we already thought through. So I must say that many of our governing council members who are on the platform here today played a very key role in terms of being able to articulate what we believe we require most, or the community requires the most. We've run this past many groups of experts. This has been almost 10 or 11 months in the making. So we've drawn in groups of people to test the platform. And each time we've got more insights on what it is that this platform can really cater to. So let me at this point just take you through and help you navigate the platform even before you actually get on the platform. For those of you who haven't yet experimented, let me tell you what to expect. Yeah, so move forward. So this is basically the thematic groups that we've identified. There's leadership, there's future of work, there's innovation, there's talent, there's technology, there's diversity, equity, inclusion, there's learning and development, and there's wellness and well-being. And we've identified these 8 themes as perhaps the largest themes which have a compelling influence over the way in which organizations are managing to be able to work together to be able to deliver business. So we're talking about crowdsourcing solutions. We're talking about manifesting collective intelligence. We're talking about being able to collaborate and enable collaborative learning. We're looking at ways and means to co-create solutions together so that we're building on each other's excellence and enabling the entire community to raise its bar. If you look at these themes, leadership, future of work, innovation, talent, technology, diversity, equity, inclusion, collaboration, learning and development, well-being and wellness, there's nothing to say that these themes are not important for people outside the HR learning OD community. Yeah, this is very important to communication professionals. This is extremely important to ESG professionals, extremely important to supply chain professionals, as important to people who are in production, engineering, those who are basically what you call line managers within your organization who are running various functions to enable the organization to succeed. These themes are, in fact, important to anyone who's participating in strategy execution within the organization. And especially as we fast forward from Industrial Revolution 4 to 5.0, human centricity, the marrying of human centricity and inclusivity is going to play the biggest role other than technology to be able to make organizations succeed. A lot of organizations have people who scratch their head and say, what does it really mean to be human centric? Right? Because human centricity gets manifest by your line managers, by anyone who is in constant contact with employees within your organization so that they actually experience it. And so, how do we create human centricity within the organization if we keep this as the domain of HR, or as the privilege of HR to be able to learn and gain expertise in? This belongs to everyone. And therefore, I urge you to bring in as many people as you can from within your organization to also actively participate. And I'm sure this discourse is going to become all the more richer if we bring in other functions and other disciplines to be able to participate in these conversations with us. Move forward. That's our header in the platform, and you have this lady who's looking into 1,000 windows, and we're saying that the purpose of learning is to turn mirrors into windows. Move forward. Yeah, I'm gonna keep you thinking about that. Yeah, turn mirrors into windows. What does that really mean? And here's our vision, which is really, to be able to mine collective intelligence, and this aims to being able to create a better society. And I'll tell you more. When we say it aims to create a better society, what do we really mean? We didn't say it aims to create only organizations that are better. We're having a more macro vision for what it is that this platform can really do. And let me try and articulate more about that as we go along. Move forward.
It
Oh,
takes a
here's our
village to
vision.
raise a child and a community.
Go ahead.
It takes a village to raise a child and a community to raise a professional. Especially in times of uncertainty and disruption, there is undeniable power in coming together to make meaning as a community. Established in 2010, the Eleanori Roundtable has been serving 25,000 members and is now an online communities of practice, Asia's largest communities of practice. With a vision to mine collective intelligence, co-create new knowledge, and manifest excellence for fellow professionals, the Eleanori Roundtable Communities of Practice invites you to join 8 thematic groups and 4 subgroups on leadership, the future of work, innovation, and much more. Join a group or even create your own group to solve problems, share ideas every day, and stay edgy about the latest knowledge on themes that matter most in the new economy. All groups are anchored by industry leaders on a daily basis. There is also a council of industry stalwarts providing advisory services. Simply direct your query and expect a speedy response. Access the largest community learning marketplace where you can register for upcoming conferences, programs, certifications, and can purchase learning resources. Browse through the Eleanori Gallery to learn from over 12 years of masterclasses by industry experts and know what they are reading today. Join the Eleanori Roundtable Communities of Practice, where every voice counts, where knowledge is democratized. It takes a village to raise a child and a community to raise a professional. Join your everyday community today.
All right. So, like the video articulated, there are 8 thematic groups. Yeah, leadership, talent, diversity, equity, inclusion, technology, wellness, well-being. There is future of work. We've got technology. We've got innovation. So there are 8 thematic groups, and if you look at the list, right, leadership, L&D, diversity, equity, inclusion, talent, wellness, well-being, future of work, innovation, technology, all of these, right, are like they actually follow MESI, which is mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. And the idea is to be able to have meaningful discourses around these themes. Now, the good news is there's nothing that stops us from renaming or rechristening these groups as we go along, and as we find as a community other themes emerging which might be really useful. But for now, these are the 8 themes. You can join, anyone who comes in can join any of these 8 groups. Feel free to be able to join any of these 8 groups. You can join all, you can join a few. Move forward. We've also got 4 subgroups. The 4 subgroups: industry, academia, bridge, diversity, equity, inclusion, momentum. We've got MSME development, and we've got talent retention. All these groups, right? Uh, the themes that we've picked up for the subgroups are meant to be able to solve persisting problems that the society is engaging with. Yeah, have we still not found meaningful solutions? So, industry, academia, bridge, diversity, equity, momentum, MSME development, which is to enable MSMEs to be able to grow in excellence, learn from best practices, and talent retention that seems to be basically ailing across companies, across industries. So the idea is to be able to come together, share best practices, share next practices, have the important discourses that we need to have together as a community to be able to create solutions. These also can be renamed and rechristened as we go along. We can have other groups, we can have more groups, and so on and so forth. The idea being, for now, we've kept it with 8 thematic groups and 4 subgroups to invite the community to be able to have the most meaningful dialogues that the community needs to have at these times. Move forward. Move forward. All right. So, like I said, we're going to now navigate the platform. The 8 thematic groups are available on the platform. These are communities of practice. These are communities of practice. Learning, but the spirit of this community is very, very democratic, which means everyone learns from everyone else. This is meant to be your everyday community, which means it's available to you 24/7. You can basically post you can join a group, you can create a post, you can attach media, much like you can do on a lot of other social media platforms. You can attach a document, you can attach a video, you can basically attach a document if you really want to, and then post. All the people that you're seeing listed on the right are people who are available. You can also address questions to them if you really want to. And they will, from time to time, initiate conversations on the platform. You've got Arvind Chinchure there, you've got Gyan Natpal there. This is the Future of Work group. Both of them are authors of really, really successful books. So you've got authors there, you've got thought leaders there, you have industry experts there who are all available to be able to help you navigate your learning on the platform. Move forward. Move forward. Yes. You can also ask for your own group. Now, guess what? You can even ask for your own group. Go back one slide, Sunit, right? Which really means that you can ask the community manager to be able to help you invite who you want to be able to crowdsource a solution. If you have a new policy or a program you're trying to initiate within your organization, you can actually socialize it to a group of people on the platform and get their perspectives. It depends on how many of them would like to join. I mean, that's completely their prerogative, but you can ask for or invite people to be able to come in and join your group. So, which means you can crowdsource solutions, you can crowdsource ideas, you can crowdsource practices, you can socialize something new that you're trying to do, perhaps for the first time, and you don't need to navigate it on your own because you have the power of the community to be able to support you to do that. So, this is a very, very powerful functionality. It is at a very nominal administrative cost, but it should absolutely be used, once you are on board. Move forward. So what do you really do, right? How do you really participate? You share ideas, you share perspectives, you can share images, you can share whatever other pertinent videos, you can have an audio cast, or you can ask for a podcast. You can ask to schedule your own micro chat, you can attach documents, you can use polls. So many ways in which you can actually contribute to the platform and even respond to each other by being able to use some of these vehicles of communication. Move forward. Um, we also have the expert advisory services segment, which really means you can reach out to industry experts with a question that you may specifically have, and they can respond to this question for free. If you persist on a dialogue and you want something more, then there is a nominal fee. But otherwise, you can freely ask everyone featured and lots of very outstanding industry experts featured. We've also indicated which might be the area of specialization to make it easier for you to be able to navigate a question to somebody. The community manager will help you facilitate this. You can have responses within 2 or 3 days, maybe earlier. But you can now reach out to any of these people, asking them a question which you want specifically answered for you. So this could be something that is a pressing problem at work. It could be personal guidance that you're really seeking. It could be a conceptual clarity that you're seeking. It could again be a program or an intervention or an initiative that you want a perspective or a point of view on. Yeah, move forward. Lots of very outstanding faces there, and fabulous people to reach out to. We ran this during the pandemic. By the way, we had more than 100 organizations, more than 150 organizations actually asked us queries. I think the team navigated almost 800 odd questions, and this worked beautifully well. And I recommend strongly that you continue using expert advisory services now available to you on the platform. Move forward. You can know who's reading what. So this is a who's reading what section. You can also add on to this by being able to share what you're reading. But this is a at a glance industry experts and what they're reading. We are expecting this to be able to grow. Like I said, this is a democratic platform, so as much want to know what you're reading. Move forward. We've got top featured videos. We've got podcasts. Our own in-house podcast is called The Ideas Project, which is already also available on Spotify. But I'm going to request that you come in, and we want different groups to be able to take the initiative to create podcasts so that we have a richer sort of repository of podcasts that are available. But top featured videos and podcasts, you can access these to be able to start a conversation. You can access these as you're preparing to do something at work. These are curated content for you on themes that matter the most in the new economy. Move forward. The Ideas Project, this is the in house podcast platform, and you can use it extensively across all the groups. Move forward. The masterclasses, the upcoming masterclasses. This is what we popularly did since 2010. So we continue doing it, and we're hoping more groups will take the initiative to be able to curate their own masterclass themes. So watch out for this place for more. This is getting more and more interesting. And of course, the micro chats in the interim. Move forward. You've got the LNOD library, the gallery of all our events and all our masterclasses in the past. But for those of you coming in late, this is a treasure trove of masterclasses that we've done over the last almost 13 years, and so you can actually access this on the LNOD communities. Move forward. You have a whole host of really masterful hacks in the resources segment, checklists, and a whole lot of things that you can actually draw from and really use and apply in what it is that you're doing every day, right? So do lean in on the learning resources. We've got some really great checklists and resources for your everyday challenges going in here, and keep enriching this by offering more resources on this segment. Move forward. We've got the blog segment, which is your writing is power segment, so that more of you can come in. It already has some really well curated blogs, but come in to be able to contribute with your own blogs. You got to send it across to the community manager, and she'll be happy to be able to upload it. So keep writing, everyone. And if you do have something meaningful to share with the community, we have a blog segment for you. Move forward. We've got the Learning Universe. This is an e-commerce platform. This is affiliated with Amazon for buying books. We have recommended books that you could actually buy. So it basically has a lot of curated content. It's got the LNOD Academy and the WLFA, the Women Leadership Forum of Asia Academy programs and certifications. It will also feature seminars and certifications available across the board. And coming soon on the back of this is the coaching board, which is a set of coaches that you can actually choose from if you were looking to be able to bring in the value of coaching to your organization, or you want a coach personally. We're going to have a whole host of them available for you to be able to reach out. Your first coaching session is for free, and that is something the community manager can organize for you. We've got asynchronous learning modules that you can bring in on your platform back in your organizations. This is all paid content, but it's going to be extremely valuable and validated by the Learning and OT roundtable. We also have a holistic learning segment coming, and we want you to be able to learn other than what you need to be able to upskill on the job. So this is going to be perhaps languages and calligraphy and a whole host of holistic learning opportunities that you can access on the Eleanor Communities platform. Move forward. And so, who do we mean by the community? So that I could run that past you one more time. We mean CHROs, CXOs, and CEOs from organizations. We mean your HR learning OD professionals, which is your teams, academicians to come in, authors to come in, consultants to come in, subject matter experts to come in, students to come in, government and NGOs to be able to bring in, their organizational, talent to be able to come in and join. We're hoping international professionals, and we already have a lot of interest internationally to be able to come in on board. So we're hoping this is going to be a global community of people who learn together and grow with the power of accessing each other's tacit knowledge, find solutions together as a community, which is indeed the only way to really learn and grow in the new decade. And the idea being that these aren't times to have only segments of people know. These are times where you need democratic influences on knowledge, on solutioning, on many more people excelling together. And so this platform's been created with the vision of creating an excellent society, and that the value of what we do collectively as a community will improve the quality of business houses, the quality of solutions, what we bear in mind, and how we go about creating these solutions for a better world. And that increasingly, as we come together as a society and engage together and engage in these powerful discourses, what we go back and do in our real lives will also improve, our perspectives will improve, our yearning to excel will improve, and that collectively across the board we'll create more inspiration for more great work. And that is basically the ideas with which this platform's been created. So I want you to bear in mind this community is larger, to engage more people from within your organizations to be able to come in. We have a series of roadshows we're doing across organizations. There's one tomorrow with Sun Pharma, and the idea is to be able to bring in high potential employees, to be able to bring in people who are successors, identified as successors within the organization, those who are high performers within the organization, even the others within the organization to be able to come in. And that it's not just the HR learning and OD fraternity, but we kind of expand this and make it more inclusive so that more people are integrated and internalize what it is that we're trying to accomplish together when we say we want to be able to now morph into 5.0. We want to become 5.0 organizations. This is HR's decade if we want to make it that. We have all the opportunities to be able to actually do that, which is to be able to manifest many things that we've been talking about for a long time and make it a reality in the lives of people. This is perfect timing, especially in times of disruptions where we value polarity thinking, where we become valuing growth mindsets. This is the perfect time to be able to get organizations to start thinking and behaving differently. And this platform can act as a very powerful facilitator and a platform for inspiring each other to be able to experiment and to be able to make a difference, to try things we would otherwise not try, and to be able to have the support of the community while we're doing that. So, with that, move forward, Suneet, and I'll bring you to the last slide, which is we want to try and create future ready, world class 21st century professionals. And anyone who wants to be that should be part of the platform. And therefore, we're urging you to be able to expand the definition of who's on the community and try and bring in more people. We want more diversity on the platform. The diversity will improve the quality of discourses on this platform. And so, do encourage more people to be able to come in. So I think with that, we're now ready for the panel discussion that we identified for today. I'm delighted to be able to bring back the panelists. So Suneet, if we can bring them back on the screen, be really, really happy. Just go one slide back. We'll just quickly call out the governing council, which has really been the wind below our wings to be able to do all that we're doing here. So just one more glance at everyone who constitutes the governing council, Suneet, not the expert advisory services. So yeah, it was the last slide, just before you brought in the panel. Yeah, no, don't move back, move forward. Okay. All right. Okay. Great stuff. So we'll talk more about that as we go along. For now, suffice to say, I want to call out the governing council members who are not here today. Some of them on the panel here, but I want you to know Adil Malia, Akhil Basrai, Ritu Anand, Rajesh Kamath have all been very stellar people contributing to this community for a long time. I want to call out C. Jaikumar, who has come in on board as part of the governing council. Deborah Hume, who joins us from the UK and has been a very stellar member of the governing council of the LNOD Roundtable and now of the LNOD communities. So very stellar people, and this would it be unfair to not call them out. So I insisted on the slide. Okay, let's get back to the panel at this time. So welcome everyone one more time. Very excited to have you on board. Rajni Khurana, Gautam Chenani, Anuradha Mishra, Sapan Srimal, Unmesh Pawar, who's just joined in. Thank you for coming in. And Jaideep Keval Ramani, Daryl Lim. So I'm going to try and, like I said, the our game plan today is one question on the panel and the second one on the platform. So I'm going to try and do a round robins asking you all a question. I think the most pertinent one that emerges from our dialogue here today. So we talked about very disruptive times. We talked about ever changing times. We talked about times that have wicked problems, and the wicked problems require access to tacit knowledge and the rest of that. But I'm going to try and allude to the fact that, needless to say, there are, a whole host of challenges that we're experiencing. But which ones would you identify? And each one of you today are representing one thematic group on the platform. So which one would you identify as perhaps the top three challenges in your domain, in the domain that you're representing here today? So I thought maybe we can kind of get started with Jaideep. Jaideep, we'll start with technology. What are the three most pressing challenges you believe organizations are experiencing in the technology space?
Right. So, Jaya, thank you. And once again, congratulations for such a beautiful launch and the pearl of the necklace of pearls that you've managed to bring together. I think it's just amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
The top three challenges actually emerge from the top three opportunities. The first one is generative AI. I mean, it has taken the world by storm. I truly believe that organizations will need to lean on HR and L&D professionals to seize this opportunity. It's not just yet another tool that you kind of bring in or buy licenses to and let the users kind of use. You need a real AI strategy for the organization. You need policies, you need frameworks, because this is going to be the age of human AI collaboration. So this opportunity also kind of presents a challenge for HR and LNOD kind of community to define these policies and frameworks and help the organization kind of walk through this entire opportunity rather than muddle through it, because you don't want uh, uncoordinated activities happening in the organization. That's number one. The second is, and since I'm kind of championing technology over here, one needs to understand that every organization is a tech organization. While you may have tech companies who sell technology as a product, but every organization has become a tech company. There is pretty much no function, literally no function that is untouched by technology. So people need to think technology, and there is a big difference between digitization and digitalization. I mean, I can convert paper into a soft copy, that's digitization, but that's not really leveraging technology. How do I give digital experiences to all my stakeholders, including my people, my clients, consumers, partners? I mean, that's going to be important, adding speed to the organization. The third challenge that most organizations are seeing is the constant reinvention that is required. Given the cycles of technology are shrinking, before you have adapted to one tech, there is another wave kind of coming and hitting you. The organization needs to understand that economic cycles and the tech cycles are tightly coupled, and they need to figure out ways and means to be extremely agile. You can no longer draw plans. I mean, gone were the days of the Japanese where you could draw a 50-year plan and have an organization kind of lead to that. The 5-year plans are also no longer working. I mean, you'll be very lucky if your annual plan survives. You have to be agile, watch out for the month, the quarter, and make changes. These are called micro pivots, as how technology is developing and how the economy is shaping. I mean, a few weeks back, in fact, a few months back, the world was worried about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. and now suddenly we are worried about what's happening in the Israel-Palestine kind of theater, and look at how tightly interlinked all the economies are. That I mean, one event is kind of affecting the other economies, and marry that with technology. I mean, it may not seem very intuitive, but you have to look at both of these. How can technology help you ride all of these sharp movements and waves that are kind of coming through in an organization? I would summarize three challenges in that manner.
Okay, all right, that's beautiful, lovely. I had a follow-on question, but I wanted to. I'm going to request to keep the response short, right, in the interest of so many more people who need to come in. You kind of talked about, and as whenever you open up a dialogue around technology, my sense is that there is always a temptation for gizmoism, and combined with keeping up with the Jones. So, give me a quick response on that, and I'm hoping that you will have a discourse around this sometime soon, which is misplaced passion around technology.
Certainly, and I think one talks about technology gizmos. I mean, there is a fashionable entrance to every new tech that kind of comes into organization. But I mean, we all heard about metaverse, kind of creating ripples across. But I think this is the third or the fourth version of a metaverse. I mean, some of us have been around long enough to remember secondlife.com. And we all thought that we will turn everything into virtual and we'll interact with everyone. But yet again, this is not happening. And I think one needs to differentiate fashion from trends to what's going to stay here. And we are seeing a few tech areas kind of emerge. One is the metaverse, generative AI. We are talking about quantum computing. I mean, all of this is going to be real and hit the organization. But at what
Mm,
scale, at what
mm,
time, and in
mm.
what fashion? That's going to be extremely important. And
Right,
human,
and
yeah,
the criteria being whether it's a real solution to a problem.
yes, a real solution to a problem, but more importantly, how are humans going to use this technology to deliver the productivity that an organization is asking for, help
Right.
the business, and so on. So, the role of HR in integrating technology and humans is going to be extremely crucial for decades to come.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. So well said. I think with that, I'm going to move forward to Gautam. And, Gautam, you're going to be talking to us today around our thematic group on diversity, equity, inclusion. So give us a DI perspective on what you see emerge as top three challenges. I think you're on mute.
Sorry, can you hear me
Gautam?
now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
now,
okay.
yes.
Sorry about that. So I think the three that I look at today, I'm looking at more the first one from a macroeconomic point of view. I think the slowdown in the tech industry, the slowdown in the chemicals industry, I think that is beginning to impact D&I initiatives. I think one is seeing a very clear correlationship now between industries which are slowing down and the kind of investments they're doing in D&I. So I think that is something that we will have to watch out for going forward. I think the other point is what Jaideep raised, and I think if you look at generative AI, right, I think it is going to start playing an important role in diversity and inclusion. And some of the examples I want to share with you is, we have a lot of unconscious biases, and these biases get translated into our communication to employees, whether these communication are around even simple things like internal job postings, or for example in the performance management system, or career advice and guidance that we give, or the training programs that we design for people on inclusion and equity. So I think
Right.
we will be using tools like AI to help us streamline some of these biases. And I think there is a positive element of AI coming into the DE&I space. The
Right.
other thing that I think is, I would like to quote from two surveys. One is an Oliver Wyman survey, which actually says that employees are saying that there are a large number of organizations which have taken on targets, which have taken on diversity quotients, or which are talking about the number of diversity candidates on the board, but that actually is not getting translated into practice. How do we make sure that that kind of gets executed in
mm,
companies. That is a very important factor. So there's a lot of stuff which is written and a lot of stuff which is talked about, but that's not being translated into play. And I
right,
think the
right.
other one is a survey that I read by Mercer, if I mistake not, and it talks about the fact that a survey was conducted for women on women employees, and they said that while we've gone through a lot of interventions on career discussions, and we've gone through inclusion programs, and we've gone mentorships and all that, but this is not actually getting translated into financial impact for us,
Mm,
or actually
mm,
promotions happening for us, or tangible
mm,
rewards happening for us. So I mean, the translation of all this into actual tangible outcomes or gains for especially gender employees is not being seen or felt. So I think these are three things that focus on. One is the tech part, which Jaideep is very passionate about, and the other one is on the execution part, and the third one is how will macroeconomic factors around an industry start shaping our future outlook towards DE and I.
Hmm, hmm. So I think lovely themes to be able to bring in the discourse on this group. So I'm going to encourage you to bring it there. And I think you also touched upon compliance versus culture. And I think that is
Yes.
right at the center of a lot of the pain points that one is experiencing in the momentum in this space. So we'll urge you to bring in that too. But thank you. I think these are all very pertinent points in the context of diversity, equity, inclusion, and the challenges that we're experiencing in the new decade. I think with that, I'm going to move this over to Sapan. And Sapan, you're going to be talking to us around wellness and well-being. On the platform, this is a much looked forward to group, and I'm sure a lot of the people who are with us here today will join you on the discourse that you lead on the platform on wellness and well-being. My question to you again is, what top three challenges do you see organizations experience in the wellness and well-being space, starting from still beginning to decipher what it really means and how does it really manifest in the workplace?
So true, Sujaya. Thank you. Uh, I mean, even deciphering in terms of what it means. So,
Mm,
any of these domains, I think the eight wonderful domains that were captured in the LNOD community, any of the domains, the challenges actually depend on the phase through which the particular domain is going through. The awareness, the adoption, and the deepening phase.
yeah.
And unlike the leadership or L&D, um, wellness and well-being has been quite a late entrant in the workplace, like possibly, to some extent, even DEI as well. And uh, it has crossed a few hurdles, but is still going through, the next set of hurdles. And just taking a little detour, uh, before 1912, uh, you know, medical doctors are quite surprised why we have fats, we have carbohydrates, we have proteins, we have minerals. Why people are still getting scurvy and diarrhea. And then they realize, oh, there's something called vitamin D. So, and that's causing all the problems. I think a similar thing happened with us also in the workplace. We've been doing everything, to time and motion studies to creating the rest of the technologies. And just said, why the productivity? Why the real crux of the outcomes, the insights, and the initiatives, the larger productivity is not coming up, and we suddenly realized wellness and well-being are you know uh, is one of the areas which is lacking. I mean, it's like you have a Boeing 777, and you know you have a pilot who is possibly having a blurry eyes, or his hazy vision, blurry mind. uh, so awareness has been a huge challenge. I mean, good or bad, COVID brought in a lot of uh, a new thirst to the wellness and well-being part. So we are crossing that stage where people are talking about the ROI. They're still, so this sudden realization that wellness and well-being is affecting me. Still, there are a lot of surprises that many organizations get when they have not really opened themselves up proactively. So that's, we are like sort of midway. While the progressive organizations have crossed that stage, they no longer talk about ROI and everything. But there are a large number of organizations which are still going through that phase. So we still need to cross that phase. But apart from that, as we are moving forward, now we have a new set of challenges. For example, we did start with wonderful sessions, wonderful orientations on well-being, awareness. We wanted to make people aware. Even COVID times, everybody wanted to have a mindfulness session or a yoga session or stress reduction session for a day, and people thought whole stress of COVID, whole stress of working from home, working in office will all go away. Doesn't happen.
Mm.
And I think the realization has come that very surprisingly, from 1 day, 1 hour programs, people have moved to little longer programs, longish programs. Uh, Problems still sustain. So the biggest challenge that at this point of time the wellness and well-being domain is experiencing is of sustainability. How do we sustain the benefits in the longer run? And we are not again talking about sustainability in terms of getting some productive results, financial results, productivity outcome. Even the basic wellness initiative, what is it supposed to do? Make people little more less stressed, have more calm, more emotionally agile. Uh, Even that, sustaining that is something which is still a challenge, and I think we are continuously finding the ways, and I hope that the community is going to talk more around that. Next, very unique challenge that wellness and well-being domain face. Uh, Unlike other domains, it's it's a very individualized journey. So unlike the innovation or leadership or L&D or technology, organization has full control on that. Organization cannot control the full well-being or wellness of an individual. Uh, you may do everything, but an individual may not be willing to participate completely. How do we overcome that challenge? That challenge they're still facing, and that's going to come. How much I'm in charge of my own choices, and how much organization can influence. Uh, that's a large question that we still need to work on. And we spoke of a unique challenge, but a common challenge which could be applicable to everyone. But more specifically here, outdated versus updated. I mean, we have a lot of things which are going on. I mean, 1 day mindfulness programs, 1 day stress reduction programs. Uh, we need to really move forward. We need to really innovate and go forward, which make larger changes, which make deeper changes. Okay. So updated. I mean, look at the books and the new age work that is happening. Look at the book like Breath. Okay.
Mm.
We never realized uh, breath can be so much have so much impact, while the ancient knowledge might be there. Look at the books like Why Do We Sleep? I mean, the sleep sciences, and then there are a lot of organizations which are now coming out on the sleep. Look at the books like Unstoppable. I
Mm.
mean, talking about the gut bacteria affecting my stress levels
Mm.
and my productivity levels. Now we have
Mm.
a completely new set of knowledge, and again, I think, like Jaideep mentioned, we don't have to run after every fashion trend fad, but I think it's equally important that we take give a due consideration to what's new, what's important, what's valuable, experiment with it, and move forward. So
Yeah.
just summarizing the three parts, I mean, one,
Yeah.
we are talking about sustainability challenge. Second, we are talking about I mean, how do we balance the individual freedom and individual choices with
Yeah.
the organizational inputs. And third, in terms of how do we go from outdated to updated in terms of well-being and wellness.
Right. Right. Lovely, Sapan. That was kind of, nicely summarized. So thank you. Obviously, it requires lots of discourse and lots of debate to be able to really arrive at some firm's conclusions, because I must say this is, a very diffuse space for most organizations on really knowing how to manifest wellness and well-being at work. And even while you say many choices are outside the domain of work, to be able to even influence in the domain of work, this is still a body of work that's still evolving. But there are people like you to be able to guide people who are on the platform, and I'm hoping this discourse is going to be meaningful for people. So I think with that, I'm going to move to Unmesh, who I know has a small window, and so we're going to try and fast forward. I would love to take future of work last, but I'm going to try and bring you in so that you can kind of make your point. Give us what you think are the top three challenges in this space, and what do you believe is going to be meaningful for people. This needs to continue on the platform. This is a group called Future of Work, so maybe you can try and identify what you think can be top three conversations this group could have.
Well, thank you very much, Sujaya, and congratulations to everybody. I think it's good to be here, and I hope that we only grow and the tribe only grows strength to strength from here. So I've been listening into what Jaideep said, and I think some of what Sapan and Gautam said, and I think kind of few things that kind of connect to me as we speak. I think three themes that I look at the future of work. One is really around this whole premise of agility and adaptability, and I think Jaideep alluded to that with the tech disruptions that's happening. But I think the broader macro itself is proving to be challenging enough. And therefore, as a leadership team, constantly inventing and reinventing yourself from a business model standpoint, from an operating model standpoint, knowing very well that you're working with partial information and taking some decision is better than no decision, and constantly being able to, it's like Mumbai traffic, right? You're constantly, it's like bumper to bumper. You have to continuously navigate. You can't be in an autopilot mode. And it's really very intense, I think. And those of us who are right now in the throes of transformation know that it's these are most one of the most hardest times to be in in the C suite. So that's the one big element around agility and adaptability of continuously being able to navigate the business, and the decisions that you have believed that were sane decisions a couple of
Mm.
quarters ago have to be potentially moved a couple of degrees. And so that's the big element around that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
connected with that, right, as you're starting to see consumer sentiment shift, market sentiment shift, business model shifting, operating model shifting. I think the connected aspect of that is really around talent and how do you navigate the whole talent landscape. And look, if you're a product company, then at least your R&D and other stuff, you're working towards a future off, right? But when you are working through in a services environment where you are hypothesizing what the services environment and the future of could look like, and you're trying to navigate your talent around that, I think the big element around skilling and upskilling and
Mm.
being able to strike a balance with that, especially so when investments are only finite, right? You've got
Yeah,
finite monies and you have to make choices of investing in learning, investing in employee engagement, employee well-being, employee wellness. There are
mm.
there are dime a dozen reasons and areas that require attention right now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when money is genuinely tight, how do you strike a balance around some of this? I think is integral.
Mm.
Connected with that is really the element around what I call as neo jobs, right? Where with the advent of tech coming in, with robotics, with automation, with AI coming in, the man machine combination is
Yeah,
forcing HR and the businesses to start think about work and roles anew, and therefore
yes.
how do you architect those jobs differently, I think, and how do you make it meaningful in a hybrid environment? I think that's the second thing. The third
Yeah.
one is really around the hybrid work culture, right? I think
Mm.
when COVID happened, right, you had one of India's largest IT service provider talking about the fact that, oh, this is the future, right?
Yeah.
We see not more than 25 to 30% of our workforce ever come into work, right? And from there to now, right, where you say, well, forget about work from home, everybody get your butt at work, right? So I think so
Mm.
that's a big we've we've we've
Yeah.
started to experience that shift. And
Yeah.
I think the conundrum here is how do you manage productivity and how do you ensure the essence and culture of the organization still thrives in a hybrid
Yeah.
environment? I think that
Yeah.
is the challenge that leaders are grappling with, right? To
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
do I trust my people enough that if they are not in front of me, they're still
Yeah.
productive? And I think there are
Yeah.
valid reasons. There are valid reasons why
Yeah.
organizations are doubting some of this, because leave utilization is at its lowest ebb, right?
Mm.
The belief as well, are people on leave? Are people not taking leave? Are people continuously working? And then
Mm.
those are questions that get asked, right? And
Yeah.
leave accrual, honestly, is cost on your books, right? So when you
Yeah.
look at all of these elements, I think
Yeah.
it does serve as a challenge for business. So I think in my
Yeah.
mind, those three: the agility, adaptability challenge, the upskilling, reskilling, neo jobs as an element, and what do you do with that? And connected with that is the hybrid work culture and the conundrum around productivity. I think those three for me, Sujaya,
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
what the future of work is throwing in front of us right
Yeah, so well said. So thank you, and I do hope you will be on the platform and continue to be able to have a conversation around these themes. And I think this is, if we had to come down to three, these are really very well articulated indeed. So thank you for doing
Thank
this. I think with that, want to move this over to perhaps what is giving most organizations sleepless nights. So we'll try and pick up talent as the key theme, and we'll try and move this conversation over to Anuradha. So Anuradha, really keen to have you call out three challenges, three key challenges. And I don't know if the list is much longer, but I'm going to ask you for the three challenges. I know retention's one of them, but I'm going to still try and get you to be able to articulate what these are. We created a special problem solving group called talent retention because it's basically what's keeping most people awake. So let me try and bring you into the conversation, and would be lovely if you tried in the discourse later bring in the element of being able to look at multi generations at work in a more meaningful way. It's kind of a cross between where you are and Gotham is, but I think we pay more lip service to this than really have the compassion to address it. So I'm going to leave it to you. Three key challenges in the talent space. Anuradha, can't hear you. Do you want us to loop in back to you later? We'll try and continue this by bringing you back in. So I think your screen's frozen, so maybe you need to log in again. So people, I'm going to move this conversation forward to Rajani, and Rajani will try and bring you in. This has originally been called Learning and Development Roundtable, Learning and OD Roundtable, and we've now morphed this into the LNOD communities, which is indeed what it is as an online communities of practice. Uh, for all those joining us today, Rajani is a very prominent human resources professional. He's the executive director of IndoSpace. This is a pioneering organization in the warehouse leasing space. And Rajani is doing an absolute fab job influencing this infrastructure, leasing, sort of, organization which is beginning to reinvent itself with her, under her stewardship and leadership. So welcome, Rajani, for making a
Thank
debut
you,
on
Sujan.
communities conversation. So thank you for joining us. I wanted you to come in. Rajni, in her previous avatars, has headed learning and development for a couple of organizations. It still continues to be a very significant part of her leadership as CHRO. So Rajni, top three challenges you believe this economy brings in, especially in the learning and development space.
Sure, Suja, I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on the launch. It's a
Thank you.
fantabulous platform I think you've got together. So today we are on era. Suja, as you rightly said, L&D is central to the stage, and this is where cafes are doubling up as office spaces. Bots are our confidants. Google is the guru, and Chat GPT are the next buddy. So in that entire context, I think organizations are really continuing to reinvent themselves. And this is where L&D is back to the center, making contributions that can really lead to strategic shifts that make the organization stay relevant and future ready. Of course, that task and journey is filled with challenges, and I articulate some. uh, I think first and foremost to my mind is Suja, business translation and alignment. I think today employees, business all look to HR and L&D to make the contributions that are really business friendly, that can really lead to business outcomes. So off the
Right.
shelf is really passe. I think today conversations have to go to what does L&D have to contribute to bring the business up, to get the market share up. If the conversations can go that direction, some of these programs that we're used to, which is time management, negotiation skills, sales training, etc., totally passive. So I think it's critical to have L&D that aligns to business translation, actually. And there is where L&D has to transform itself. That's the first challenge. The second that comes to my mind is what I believe is, I think in any organization, learning is awareness away. So rousing awareness today is really a critical ask that L&D has. There's a time when L&D can really enable leaders to bridge that power gap, generation gap, actually with the knowledge bridge. Today is the era where leaders really need to be coaches, mentors, believe in reverse mentoring. So making managers and leaders as the key allies is critical for any organization to have efficient learning. Because
Right.
believe you me, the best TNI needs come from aware managers, and that's where the first step of learning begins and the interventions begin. So, raising awareness is the second key ask, and the challenge is what I would say. Um, Third, I think we heard from everybody. Jaydeep said that, every organization is tech organization. Today, learning can't be away from that. So,
Mm,
tech is an essential component of the cocktail, which leads to
mm,
experiential learning. So, the
mm.
70-20-10 is totally changing. It's heavily tilting to 70, with, organizations and structure sectors like manufacturing, aerospace, healthcare, particularly moving to simulation based virtual reality and augmented reality based learning programs, where
Yeah.
the hands on experience really builds in the confidence in the incumbent to say that I am now future ready to go and lead the next role.
Mm.
Um, 10 is changing phenomenally. I think all of us have seen how hybrid workplaces have totally changed the way we learn. Micro, just in time, anytime, anywhere learning is critical, and therefore, LXPs are far more prevalent than the classrooms. And I think any organization that is really looking at how to really get the best of out of learning has no choice but to get it really at the fingertips available at any point in time for employees. So I think these are
Yes.
three key challenges and transformations that I see happening in the world of L&D, and that's where L&D has to transform itself.
Lovely, beautiful. So I think these are lovely points, and I think all of them are so relevant, and they're very contextually palpable, and I'm sure more people will relate to them and continue this discourse on the platform. So thank you for sharing that, Rajni, and also thank you for making your debut on our platform for the first time.
Happy to do that,
Thank you for
Sujaya.
being here. Thank you for being here. All right. So with that, Anu, should we move this over to you? Talent, and I'm sure everyone's waiting to hear from you. Top three challenges as you identify in the current economy. What are we looking at when we're looking at talent? Okay, so this is technology that comes and goes. So I'm sorry, I'm not sure this is working. So I'm going to move this over and take it to our last speaker. And if we do get Anu back, that we're going to try and see whether we can get her to respond on talent. All those who are we're looking to hear from Anuradha about talent, join the group. I'm sure you'll be able to do this on the chat. So continue the conversation there. We can try and at this point bring in Daryl Lim. And Daryl, I saved you for the last because we saved the best for the last. All right, wanted you to be able to come in on innovation. I mean, almost all encompassing, isn't it? It kind of oversees everything that everyone else spoke about right now. But let me try and bring you in on innovation and give us a sense on, top three challenges organizations are experiencing around innovation. So over to you. No one better than somebody from design thinking talking about this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sujaya. And once again, congratulations on the launch of the platform. It's a very beautiful
Thank you.
platform. I just went on board and started to put on my profile pictures and everything at the back. That's
Uh,
it. Coming to this whole topic on innovation, I think there is a quote from our field in innovation that talks about innovating things that do not exist, right? Trying to challenge us to innovate and create new possibilities, disrupting old ways of doing things. I, on the other hand, look at that quote as a bit more of a risk and a bit more of a potential challenge that organizations face today. Um, Innovating things that should not exist. I think that is very much what I see a lot in organizations today, where some organizations innovate for the sake of innovating. Uh, Automating or digitizing parts of process that shouldn't even exist in the very first place. So I think these are things that's one of the challenges we face today. Number two would be looking at particularly did I just write innovate? What shouldn't? Yeah. So I just mentioned a little bit about filling up forms that shouldn't exist, creating processes that shouldn't exist. And another challenge that we face is about using technology to enable or are we using technology to displace? I think that's an inevitable process where sometimes we create or we create technological solutions to try to make things faster in order to help create more spaces for innovation and create more opportunities for business growth. But inevitably, people are also displaced. And are they really given the opportunity and the accountability to create that new opportunity, that new possibility for the organization? I think these are, to me, the two key challenges. And finally, the last one is, what really is the problem that we are facing? That's the very important question that we need to ask. Adoption of technology today for the sake of adopting ends up with a lot of losses. People are
Yeah.
changed, processes are changed, end up you invest a lot more into undoing this whole introduction. So these are my three challenges.
You're right. I think well said. So, innovation for the sake of innovation, innovation that actually makes things more difficult. Innovation, is it really solving a problem? I think all very relevant points to be able to consider. And I think with that, I'm just going to simply thank all of you for bringing in such relevant insights in a very small window. Been really delightful talking to each one of you. These are all absolutely ready to be able to expand on the platform through many discourses. So we're going to take the second part of this. Everyone who's on this program today, take the second part of this on the platforms. Get onto the LNOD communities. It is your everyday community. You can come to this every day. You can start a conversation. You can plan a micro chat. You can trigger different kinds of thoughts for others. You bring in your perspectives, bring in your queries. No one's judging anything. It's a democratic platform where you're allowed to be able to share a perspective, to disagree, to debate. And we want you to be able to come in and do this in the healthy spirit of learning and helping each other to excel. And like we said, and we all collectively agreed, that these times belong to tacit knowledge, and that each one of us bring in a personal pedagogy, which is extremely powerful. It is sum total of all our insights and our experiences. And I'm going to invite you all to pour them into the LNOD communities for people to be able to leverage these insights to be able to continuously grow. So this platform's about compassion. This platform's about generosity. This platform's about learning. This is about enabling each other, and this platform's about knowing that your community has your back. And so, in that spirit, I'm going to ask you all to be able to come onto the platform now. So, the rest of the conversation on the platform, in the second half, we're going to try and generate some solutions around these challenges that each of these experts, each of these industry leaders raised right now. And I'm going to ask them to be able to help lead them on these groups. And for all of you who are going to join the platform, I'm hoping you have the coupon. If you don't, reach out to the number that we gave you, the community manager number, so that somebody can help you on board. It doesn't even take 5 minutes to do that. Join the group before participating. So you will need to join the group. So there is somewhere you need to click saying join group, and that's when you can actually join the group. But you can come on to as many as possible. And so here is a treasure trove. You want to answer one question around with Sapan Shrimal on wellness well-being, kind of swim across to Daryl and try and understand what Daryl's saying around innovation and share your perspective with him. You want to move around to future of work and talk to Unmesh Pawar. You want to be able to move around and talk a bit about technology with Jaideep Kemal Ramani. You want to talk to Anuradha about talent. You want to talk to Gautam Chenani around diversity, equity, inclusion. You want to talk about learning and development, with Rajani Kurana. Please feel free and join these and continue the conversation. So with that, I'm going to thank you for joining us here today. We had a grand launch on the 6th of October at the St. Regis in Mumbai. And I thought it was important to do a couple of these online so that those who didn't have the opportunity to join us at the live event can join us online. We want to see you on the LNOD communities. It's your everyday community, and you can join it anytime through the day, and try and invite more people to be able to come in. It's a democratic platform. No one has the right answers. We're all seeking these together. So see you on the other side. See you on the LNOD communities, everybody. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Sujaya. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Lovely being here. So we log off from here, Sujay, right?
Let's log off
Yes.
from here and on
Perfect.
the LNOD communities now. Yeah, so see
See
you on the other side.
Thank you, Sujay.
All right, see ya.